Hey fans, we're continuing our Marvel Monday, but we already watched all 23 movies. So now we're moving on to WandaVision, which we're going to watch in 2 parts. Here with me, as always, is Amy Goldman, fellow Nubian, Annie King, who's the biggest fan of MCU, Mark Gartner, and I am actually at the home of Joel Finster.
Hey, everybody.
And Nick the Brit, we don't know
Big surprise.
We don't know where Nick is. But we have a special surprise this week because I sent everybody a paddle. And Annie didn't get hers.
With a ball.
So periodically, we're going to just play. Go ahead, go.
When we're bored listening to people, we can just play.
Right. All right, going to my notes. Here we go. WandaVision is from 2021. It's a made-for Disney Plus series that is a continuation of the MCU universe. Takes place right after Avengers Endgame, right?
Yeah, within a couple of weeks.
Within a couple of weeks. Episode 1, we find Wanda and Vision in a 1950s sitcom in a black and white 1950s town called Westview, New Jersey. And it deals with Vision's job and the boss coming over for dinner. Typical 1950s. It looked like Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, it felt like the Dick Van Dyke Show at times.
Yeah. And he sidestepped the ottoman, right? Oh, he went through it.
Did he walk through it?
Yeah, he walked
through it. Okay, so then Wanda, who obviously went to the Mary Poppins School of Cleaning Things, because they just float in the air and get clean. And then, but she can alter reality with the snap of her fingers. So why she had to do the floaty thing, just because they could.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Olsen is so good at capturing the tone of that arch 1950s vibe that she should have her own satire sitcom-y thing. She should be in a real one. Okay, so and the production values were amazing. Okay. And here's my one nit to pick on this episode was that Wanda ends up serving breakfast for dinner, but they still drink wine with it. That's gross.
I thought that too. I was like, even I wouldn't do that. Annie?
Well, mimosas maybe.
Mimosas, yeah.
Oh yeah, a mimosa. A red wine was gross. Okay, and then we see at the end of it that someone is actually watching this on a TV. And then we also saw like the red dot in the commercial.
Okay.
All right. Episode 2 finds them in a 1960s sitcom. I don't know why I'm summarizing. And that one had more to do with the town, and the townspeople. And this one had a bewitched vibe. It was very 1960s. She didn't twitch her nose, but it was, I think it was kind of closest to what's going on because they're hiding their powers and he has to hide who he is. Okay. And then Wanda pulls a full color toy helicopter out of a black and white trash bag, and then we hear somebody on the radio. And during the magic show, Paul Bettany, also, he's so good. He's so good. They were great. They were both great. Emmy nominations, please. I'm asking. And then we see the guy in the bee suit, and Wanda kind of rewound it. I don't know why we rewound, but she rewound the tape. And I actually saw these 2 episodes when it first premiered, but I hadn't seen all the movies, and I was so lost. And I still feel, even now, that they didn't need 2 episodes. It was a little redundant to me to do both. And I think it was a little like, look at me, we can make a 50s sitcom, a 60s sitcom, a 70s. So I think they could have just started in the 60s, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, then we get to the Brady Bunch, the 1970s. In full color, Wanda gets pregnant. And then this is where we start to see what happened to the people in the snap, and And now we understand that Wanda is using this sitcom world to deny that all the events that happened, and Vision getting, do you get killed if you're an AI thing?
Technically, yes.
Killed. And so, yeah, so, and then this is one of my favorite things. I mean, it's a little bit, but I really enjoyed, was when Wu showed up and he did the card trick that Ant-Man showed him to give the business card. I'm like, these people are just so fucking clever. It really is. It was like, it was this little thing that if you didn't watch all of them, you wouldn't get why it's funny. But knowing that he taught it to him, that was just brilliant. And now, wait a minute. And now we have, and so the whole thing with starting to reveal the snap and the blip, whatever it's called. Again, how Marvel was so brilliant in making this and stretching it out and making it all, it's really expanding on all the things. And now we have Sword. Did we have Sword before this?
No.
And what is Sword?
It's a slightly
Strategic
more
weapon.
different version
Shield.
of Shield. You have a sword and you have a shield.
But my nephew Derek said that Shield deals with things on Earth and Sword deals with things in outer space.
In the comic books, that's correct.
Yes.
Not in the MCU. Because in the MCU, I forget exactly what sword stands for, but it has to do with
Strategic weapons.
Weapons.
yeah, it's like weapons, like AI and stuff like that, or big weapons and things like that.
That is Joel drinking from his water bowl.
Yeah.
Can you hear it? Blah, 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 blah. Okay,
right.
and then the woman called Rambo, and I'm like, I know we had a Rambo before, so I had to look it up. And so she's the daughter of the Marvel girlfriend. So that was fun. And the next episode is 1980s Full House, which is funny because Elizabeth is, her sisters were the Full House thing. And it would have been funny if the sisters had shown up in that episode.
Yeah, that wasn't happening.
And could baby Vision be any cuter when they showed the baby pictures of them? I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. All right. And then what was with the weird mailman? He seems like he's going to be a bigger part. He's going to come up and, no? All right. And then the other brilliant thing was Wanda ending the episode by starting the credits. And then he was like, no, wait a minute. That was brilliant. Because, you know, sitcom ends with the credits. And he was like, no, we're not doing this. And then when her brother came and it was a new actor, that was Bewitched. All of a sudden, Dick York was Dick Sargent and nobody said anything about it. And that's the kid from American Horror Story, right?
Well, more importantly,
Yes.
Evan Peters
Evan Peters,
played Quicksilver in the X-Men movies for Fox.
right?
So his appearance at the end of that episode had the entire internet going crazy because they thought, and
He was Quicksilver,
he was still Quicksilver, but from another universe because he was.
but he's not. He's the
Either
brother,
he might be. Well, Quicksilver's still her brother, regardless. It's just, is she
but
her
not
brother?
from
Correct.
another mother.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that's, I really don't have anything else to say. I just feel like it's weird because I don't know where it's going. I don't know how much I like it. You know, 1, 2 were kind of slow, and I think they could have made 1 out of them, and then 3 got interesting. 4 was great, 5 was good, but there's 4 more. So does anybody want to offer opinion on the first 5 episodes? Amy Goldman?
Well, I think it's very important. Normally I go to IMDb and I read the synopsis, but there's nothing really for this. So go to Rotten Tomatoes and they have a long article on each episode. And the guy or woman, I think it's a guy writing it, is brilliant. And he sees every single tiny little detail and you go, oh my God, I didn't even realize it. So including the whole Quicksilver thing and how Fox and Disney, you couldn't combine the Marvel and the X-Men, but now all of a sudden you can. It's really interesting. You really learn a lot. And he picks up on things like from episode 1, like when Mrs. Hart was saying, stop it, stop it. I'm like, why does she keep saying stop it? He said she was saying stop it to Wanda. As in she realizes what's going on, just like, you know, the Indian guy did. I didn't
Well,
think, I was like, what the fuck is she saying stop it about?
there was also a moment where she broke character and she was like, oh, that was so good. Should I do it again?
No, that was Agnes.
Yeah, that was Agnes.
Agnes, sorry, yeah, Agnes.
Yeah, because Agnes was supposed to pick up the babies, but all of a sudden he changed the lines and she was like, whoa. P.S. The woman playing Agnes is fabulous. Oh my gosh.
He gets it too.
Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Holy shit, is she good, especially when she broke character and just became Catherine Hahn. Wow, she was good. And I could
But then
not
she
get over.
knows she's in a sitcom?
She's well aware of something. She
wait
knows
and
that
see
she's
what
saying
happens.
lines.
Yeah, because she certainly broke character, absolutely.
Many times, yeah. Well, not many times, but she also saw the kids grow from 5 to 10 and didn't matter. I could not get over how great the openings were for each episode. Oh my God, were they clever. I liked it so much more than I thought I would. As I say many times before every movie, episode 1 and 2 definitely could have gone together. 3 was great, 4 was incredible. And I actually rewatched 5 today. I loved it so much. And I just wanted to see what else I would catch, especially after reading the Rotten Tomatoes back. So I'm gonna bang out 6 to 10 in one sitting, maybe today.
But you watched episode 5, let's see what else you could catch after you already read everything that was already caught.
It's like rewatching Breaking Bad. After you know it, then you rewatch it.
The same day.
I watched this like 2 days ago.
What about you, Annie? You look like you're reading your phone. What are you doing?
I was looking something up. I was trying to, yes, but
Oh,
yeah.
trying to be clever.
it's,
You want me to go to Mark so you could finish finding what you were looking for?
no, I just wanted to say that I like the commercials. I
Commercials?
thought those
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
really interesting, like the Hydra watch, the Stark toaster, so those were
I
kind of great.
think again, and I've said this a few times, I think it really speaks to how much the people writing this love the universe, that they want to completely put everything in there and make it fun. And they really, they're really fans. That's what's great.
Yeah, like I love the way that it did each episode with a different decade of TV. So that was a lot of fun. And I like that they brought Wu from Ant-Man and Darcy from Thor and
Supporting players.
Yeah.
yeah, and Monica
Couldn't
from
afford
Captain
the big
Marvel. That was fun.
Yeah, that was
to
fun.
see them all.
And Darcy,
Yeah.
I think, is always fun.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely, she is.
And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I have to ask what's behind you because it looks like a block of a snowman. Oh, a cabinet. Okay. I couldn't see what it was. Now go back where you were. You see, now a little back, see the eye of the snowman right
Oh,
there?
okay, I see.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Little thing. I'm like, it's a snowman. Okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so like what we do stars after the entire series.
I think we should wait because for us, I mean, I know you've seen the whole thing, but for us, I feel like, yeah, we can't really make a determination until we know
Yeah.
where we're going.
Yeah, because
Watching
there's so much more to come.
Yeah, it's like watching half a movie, a 4-hour movie, granted. but-
Speaking of stars, Frank, you need to aggregate the stars. What movie got the most? Who gave the highest, the lowest? I thought that was the whole point of the stars. You were gonna, and that's why you were writing them down.
Yeah,
you
I'm
need
gonna
all
do
that
that
work.
as soon as I do all the cards that I haven't done.
That'd be a good job for Chaz.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
please ask Chaz to do it. I love that. Maybe he could do the cards too.
No, he wouldn't do that, but he'd aggregate everything.
Yeah,
I'll ask him.
Chaz is pretty aggravating. Aggregate.
Aggregating.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Mark G.
Frank, I would say word for word exactly what you said about the episodes being the first 2 slow and 3 and 5 good, but 4 was fantastic. If I had to give a star right now, I'd probably give it an average of 3 overall for the first 5 episodes.
But you know where it's going.
For me, right. I watched this 3 months ago, after it had already aired and stopped airing. So I didn't bother rewatching it. So I don't remember all the little things that probably you guys do about like him walking through the ottoman.
You didn't
Yeah.
bother rewatching?
No, I didn't.
You've seen
I,
the
I
last
looked
movie
it up.
3 times. You couldn't watch Wanda one more?
That's my overall opinion. Yeah, it was. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. But I'm not going to rewatch it 3 months later. It just wasn't that interesting to me.
Now, when
I would
Spider-Man Far From Home, you watched 3 times and it was released 2 years ago. So you
Mhm.
watched it every 4 months.
I don't know how your math works, but that's not.
That's not it?
That's not how math works.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen Captain America 15 times in 10 years.
Anyway, for me, this storyline came out, or the show is somewhat loosely based on a storyline that Joel told me about, actually, because it came out after I stopped reading comics in 1993. So I was a little bit lost, and Joel can tell you too, because I was busting his chops, that when the commercials for it at first, I thought just were too cheesy. I didn't think it was going to be a good show, and it's my own fault for not learning already that everything the MCU seems to do turns out to be either gold or at least silver. And this, I would say, is silver. But it was interesting too, because again, this is thanks to Joel. When Wanda and her brother Pietro were introduced in the comics, it was way back in 1963 in X-Men #1, and that's my comic, X-Men. So they were introduced along with Magneto and Professor X and all that stuff. And she was pretty much the weakest when it comes to powers. She had a hex. It was basically like bad luck. You come in a fighter and she goes, and then you trip and fall on a banana. It was that simple. So when they have her being so super powerful, a telekinetic, a telepath, and rewriting reality, I thought that was all bullshit that was just made up for the movie because of the stone gave her the power and in this. But Joel said no, in actuality, that really was. And I hope I'm not stealing all of your lines, Joel. I'm sorry.
Nope,
Good. So it was interesting for me to learn. It was a good learning experience. I personally love Evan Peters, and as Joel referred to, he absolutely stole every scene he was in, specifically in X-Men Days of Future Past, which is a great storyline. It's one of my favorite comic book stories as well. If you haven't seen that, it is on Disney Plus, and I would recommend watching that. It's fun, and when he shows up, you're gonna laugh. And just Amy, Catherine Hahn, if you don't know who she is, she's generally a dirty comic. She's in Bad Moms and a few other things, and she's usually the raunchy one. So it's funny seeing her on a Disney, especially the 50s TV show.
She's in
And I won't
We're the
mention-
Millers.
Oh, okay.
She's the woman.
Oh,
You're the Millers.
Oh, yeah.
okay. Yeah, she's always that that character.
Wow.
So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I know where it's going now that I've seen the last 4, so I won't say anything either to spoil anything. But I think you'll enjoy where it goes.
So the other thing was, I thought that the 80s show was Family Ties house.
Yes, I'm sorry. Was it?
Oh,
Yeah,
there
well,
was a couple of
the
scenes.
opening looked more like Family Ties, but I
Right,
think
the
it's
set was more
it's a Full House Family Ties kind of
vibe.
mix.
Yeah, it's again, if you read the Rotten Tomatoes thing, he'll tell you every single sitcom. It's never just one. And
Oh.
like the 50s one looked like Dick Van Dyke, but the opening was pure I Love Lucy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and the 60s
Brilliant.
one was Bewitched.
Yeah.
Opening.
And he even mentioned how they moved into color. And so it is at the end of the, when she had the red helicopter, they're moving into color all of a sudden, just like Bewitched. So clever.
All right. Joel is a
Very.
Mark,
Yeah.
the delay you were talking about before, you're like talking and then you're talking.
Uh-oh.
That's probably because I'm on my phone.
Maybe.
So I will admit this. I did watch it again. It's actually
See?
it is
Me
my
too.
3rd time going through the series because my wife and I would
Wow.
watch it weekly when it dropped, and then when it was over and they had all dropped, we watched the whole thing in one giant sitting, And now obviously I did it for this, and I'll do the second 4 episodes, the next batch of episodes for next week. I'll also say my wife has seen it more than that because she loves the show. She absolutely
Well,
fell in
Actually
love with
see
it.
Natasha on the show.
She's got a Deborah Jo Rupp
One
vibe
of
to her.
those sitcoms in a sitcom
Yeah.
thing. Perfect for her.
There's so much I actually really enjoy about the show, just from a technical standpoint, with the, capturing the vibe and feel and look of a 50s sitcom, of a 60s sitcom, of a 70s sitcom,
Even
of
the
an 80s
screen
sitcom.
width, right?
Exactly, the screen, it keeps changing, even
God.
within, when they're in the real world, it's wide, it's wide, ultra widescreen. When they're in something, it's just regular widescreen. When it's Academy ratio, it's all over the place.
Academy ratio.
Yeah, I know. I have
Film
up there. And that's one of the things I love picking up on, watching it over and over again. And even like, at first I was like, oh, the commercials are cute, but they don't add anything.
But they do.
They do. Well, they do. They really do. And once you get through it and you realize why there are commercials and what the commercials specifically are referencing, it makes more sense. It's a wonderfully crafted show, and it's different because it's hi honey.
Natasha's sitting here now.
Can't hear you.
Natasha is sitting here now.
Oh, hi, Natasha.
We told
Hey,
Natasha.
Natasha.
Natasha, I said
Hey.
you should have been in the show. Would have been perfect for you.
So I love the show. I've been enjoying it. I'm enjoying it again, watching it again. I will probably watch it again at some point.
Joel, do you remember what the commercial was in episode 5? Because I remember really thinking they were connected.
I think that was the
Paper towel.
the Lago paper towels, because they clean up a mess.
Oh, I didn't get that. I mean, I got the Lagos, but not cleaning
Yeah.
up the mess. Holy
Cleaning
shit.
up a mess. Yeah.
All right. I think
all I
that's
got.
it. Next week we're gonna watch the final. Some of us are gonna watch the final 4 episodes. Some of us will be just remembering when they watched it 6 months ago. And
Andy, you watched the whole thing before, right?
Yeah, and I'm watching it again. And I took notes.
Wow.
Lots of notes.
Mark's the odd man out.
Did you say
I'm
all
the
you
only
know?
slacker.
And so this is streaming on Disney Plus. We are going to then watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then it will be time for opening weekend of Black Widow. So we'll be able to watch that as well. And then there's Loki. So we have a bit of stuff
This
to
will take
still
us through the end of the summer.
continue discussing.
Is Black Widow only in theaters?
No.
Oh.
It's going to be on Disney Plus,
Yeah,
but
for
it's
$30.
Premier access.
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
$30
extra.
$30.
Cheaper to go to the theater.
How does
Depends on
that work? Do you have to- can you
Depends
pay
on how
one
many kids
time?
you have.
What, Mark?
Can't hear anybody.
How does that work with the Premier Access? Do you have to sign up for it, or can you just do it for like one time to watch that one movie and be done with it?
Yes, you can. You can. Yes, you just pay for it. You click on
Like
play or
it's like
something, and it
pay-per-view,
charges your
right?
credit card. Yeah.
It's like pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Disney.
Okay.
But if you have 2 kids and they
Yeah.
they like popcorn, you're looking at a $50 bill.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Plus parking.
30 is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you
All
can
right,
come over,
everybody, let's
we'll
go
watch
out.
it together.
Doing our boo bob.
Yeah.
I understand
You're
that.
gonna stay
Yeah,
there.
maybe I'll do that.
Okay. Although I wouldn't mind going to the theater either if you want to go.
I would love to do that too.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
Wait a minute, stop, don't hit stop. I just wanted to say thank you to Mark for getting us Meow Meow.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, thank
Bottle
you, Mark.
openers.
Yeah,
And
Explain what it is
Infinity
again.
Gauntlet
Explain
keychain.
what it
Look how
is.
big it is.
Hey,
Thank you, Mark.
And you're
This is
welcome. That's a
bottle
bottle opener
opener.
too.
They're both
it's
fun.
a bottle keychain.
Oh, it is a bottle
opener.
Didn't even
Really
realize,
should have demonstrated it.
right?
Don't you have a beer lying around, Mark?
That you could open right now?
I don't. I feel embarrassed now.
You're having a barbecue. How could you not have beer around?
Oh no, it's 2 floors down. Oh, don't worry, there'll be one cracked soon.
And on Mark's crack, we will say goodnight.
Thank you, Mark.
Good night, Mark's crack.
And thank you, Frank.